make the recording later on that so it goes to a place where you can get at
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Okay. So,
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that's no, that's not.
okay, this is the new one. This is the presentation outline for effectively communicating the plan.
Okay.
So,
Uh, so we only have it in writing, not in as a
oh no,
video.
yeah, no. That was my point. The I haven't had a chance to go through the script. You always have to go through the script before you can go to the idea of a podcast.
All right. Do you want to read it then?
Okay, so I don't know. Can you see it?
I
I
can
made the
see it.
script.
Yeah.
I made the text larger.
Yeah, I can see it. But do you want to read it? Then we've
Okay.
got.
So this the intro, if you would, or the pre-intro is this presentation outline is designed to guide audiences toward a clear understanding of the ultimate goal of the Koistra plan, changing human nature by ending the prioritization of self-interest in favor of community interests, by establishing agreement on the problems, their urgency, the causes and the necessary changes will build a narrative that makes the solution and its components clear and compelling.
That's
Okay.
good.
So then it says on opening statement. Now we're into the presentation. That was more or less for us. Now this is the introduction, acknowledgement of past miscommunications. So this is us talking to our core audience right now. Opening
Yeah.
statement. We recognize that until now, many of you have focused only on specific components of the solution, such as universal basic income, UBI, or creating markets for goods and services. That's on us. We haven't done a good enough job in explaining the ultimate goal of the Koistra plan. Clarifying the ultimate goal. The true goal of the Koistra plan is to change human nature by transforming the way we think and act. This means eliminating profit-driven thinking and capitalism as the dominant forces in our lives, ending the desire for superiority and status over others, replacing self-interest with a focus on community well-being and mutual benefit. The role of sub-goals. The goals you've seen, like reducing inequality, protecting the environment, and achieving economic fairness, are actually sub-goals or means to help us achieve this deeper transformation. They are also the positive outcomes that we will experience once we prioritize community interests over personal self-interest. So then we get into stage one of the presentation, identify and agree on the major problems. Problem one, widespread inequality and poverty. Explanation, the gap between the rich and the poor continues to grow, creating suffering and instability. The underlying cause is self-interest drives people to seek wealth and status at the expense of others. Engagement, can we agree that a system where a few have everything while many have nothing is unsustainable? So then the second problem, environmental destruction. Explanation, our planet is being damaged by relentless resource exploitation and profit-driven industries. The underlying causes are the pursuit of profit and superiority over others fuels unsustainable practices. Engagement. Do we agree that prioritizing profit over environmental health threatens our future? So these are when we get this what
And
they're
I think absolutely excellent.
So what they're calling engagement is us getting confirmation back from our audience that we're all in agreement on what we're saying. The problem number three is debt and economic instability. The explanation is people and nations are trapped in cycles of debt that limits their potential and creates stress. The underlying cause is economic systems designed to benefit those who hold power and wealth. Yeah. So the engagement, is it clear that self-interest leads to systems that exploit rather than uplift? Problem number four is global instability and conflict. Explanation is competition for resources, power, and dominance leads to wars and conflicts. The underlying cause is the human need to assert superiority over others. Do we agree that unchecked competition and the drive for dominance leads to conflict? Problem five is psychological and spiritual crisis. Explanation, a focus on status and material wealth as left people unfulfilled and struggling with mental health issues. The underlying cause is the desire to rank higher than others and prioritize personal success. Can we agree that the pursuit of status and competition leaves us feeling empty? Stage 2 is emphasize the core cause, human nature and self-interest. The core cause of problems, self-interest, our tendency to prioritize our own needs, success, and status over the well-being of others. The desire for superiority, the drive to be better than others, to accumulate more wealth and power. Profit-driven thinking, systems that reward those who exploit resources, people, and the environment. Why does this matter? If we do not address human nature, our prioritization of self-interest, then inequality, environmental collapse, debt, and conflict will continue. Can we agree that changing this aspect of human nature is essential to solving these problems permanently? So, and then we get into stage 3, the urgency of addressing the human nature issues, the consequences of inaction. Inequality will worsen, leading to social collapse. Environmental destruction will continue, threatening human survival. Technological disruption, artificial intelligence, automation will amplify inequality. And conflict and instability will rise due to competition for resources. Can we afford to wait, or must we act now to change our priorities and ensure a better future? Stage 4, the necessary changes in societies and individuals. We need to move from self-interest to community interest, shift the focus from individual success to the well-being of all, from superiority to equality. Recognize that true progress comes from lifting everyone up, and from profit to purpose. Align economic systems with human and environmental well-being. The question to the audience, are we ready to make these changes to how we think and live? And then in stage 5 is talking about the sub-goals and positive outcomes. So we talk about equitable distribution of wealth. Why? To end the drive for superiority and promote fairness. 2, sustainability and environmental protection. Why? To prioritize long-term collective survival over short-term profit. 3, debt-free prosperity. Why? To eliminate exploitation driven by self-interest. 4, global peace and cooperation. Why? To replace competition with collaboration. And 5, personal fulfillment and balance. Why? To achieve well-being beyond material success. Then stage 6 is the solution, the components of Koistra's plan. 1, a global basic income, addresses inequality and poverty. 2, sociocratic decision-making, addresses global cooperation and fairness. 3, interest-free credit system, addresses debt and exploitation. 4, sustainable policies, addresses environmental destruction. 5, psychoeconomic balance, addresses mental and spiritual well-being. The link to the core cause. These components are tools to help us shift away from self-interest and towards community well-being. The conclusion to this part, now keep in mind that we're not trying to get all the way through everything in one presentation. We're trying to get everybody on board to link the components of the plan to the purpose, and then we'll have more presentations to go into the detail. So the conclusion, the call to transform human nature. Recap. The real goal of Koistra's plan is to change human nature by ending self-interest and the drive for superiority. Empowerment. We have the tools and the vision. The question is, are we ready to prioritize our shared future over personal gain? And the call to action is, can we commit to this transformation for ourselves, our communities, and the planet? Okay, so now I also asked it then to say, why is that strategic sequence, if you would, of that presentation why is this the most effective way? And what it came back and says, well, what this does is why this approach is effective. It clarifies the ultimate goal, makes it clear that the goal is transforming human nature, not just implementing specific policies like a universal basic income. It has a logical progression. It guides the audience step by step from problems to causes to necessary changes and solutions. It emphasizes urgencies, highlights why these changes are needed immediately to avoid catastrophic outcomes. And audience buy-in. It uses engagement questions to ensure the audience understands and agrees at each step. This structure helps the audience see the bigger picture and recognize that the components of the plans are merely tools to achieve a fundamental transformation of values and priorities.
I think that's excellent, Bill. I really do. What do you think?
Okay, no, it is, but keep in mind, this is the start. This is not the
Yes,
end.
yes. And then the next question is how to achieve this.
Yeah. Well, yes, but even on this piece here, this is an outline for a presentation. So the next step now would be to go back to ChatGPT and say, "Oh, okay, this is good. If we see any changes we want, we can ask for changes to the outline. Prioritize this, play that down, whatever." But once we get that and we have this outline, then the next thing is we say, "Okay, flesh it out and actually make it into a PowerPoint."
Yes.
And
I,
so that
we're ready. I think it's ready for that. What do you think?
I know. I think here it's good enough that what we can do is I can go back now and say, okay, convert this to a PowerPoint and give me the slides. Give me the slides, and it will give me the speaker's notes for each slide. In other words, it'll generate a speaker's notes script for the slides. I'm pretty sure that there are tools then that I can get it to go and have AI actually speak that. In other words, we can turn that PowerPoint into a video. And this is going to take
Can
some.
we do that? Right. Can we do that straight away so we can get to get moving?
Well, that's going to take that's the piece that takes time. The next step here is, and that maybe can be done in a few hours, is to say, okay, turn this into slides. Usually, when it converts your outline into slides, you look at it and you say, oh, well, I'm trying to walk through and envision how people are going to react, how well those slides are getting across our message, and then we're going to want to tweak that, and you're going to want to tweak the speaker's notes on that. Now, what I haven't done, I saw some videos last week walking through step by step how to do when we get ChatGPT, okay, flesh this whole thing out. And then I say, fine, give me uh, uh, convert it into slides. That I saw that they were doing that, and so I've seen some videos that say how to, but I haven't done it yet myself. So that's going to take some trial and error probably to do that. Now, one of the other things here that we should be able to do is once we have just the fleshed out, before we get to the slides, another thing that I can do is I can ask Anthropic Claude, that's another AI tool, and say, make me a landing page website that sells this whole, what we're describing here. I have no idea. I've only seen again the videos of people doing it. I have not attempted to do that myself. But that would be very interesting for us to be able to go, because if it does a good job at that, we
Then
can now
then we would replace the first page with this.
well, we could, or what's very often here is you've got a detail website that's got all kinds of details. That you make multiple landing pages that are like one pages, but with a lot of scroll down, and has a menu that'll jump to the different points. So it's a different approach than let's say a website like we have that is structured, well structured, and so forth. But these landing pages, their goal is to get you interested and exciting and excited enough to one, it'll have a link that will link you over to our main page. So the goal of that is for marketing, if you would, because you can create landing pages for different audiences then. So you might have a landing page for people at the UN. You might have another landing page for people in NGOs that are dealing with problems on the ground in different places, because the arguments of the things that are going to that we want them to focus on would be slightly different. Anyway, so the place where we're at now, what I think what we need to do is you know, I'd like you to go and look at the at after we get off the call, you can go back into this document and go through it and just see, is there anything you want to tweak? And because I can do the part to flesh it out twice. I'll have it flesh it out. We'll see what it brings. But in parallel, you might say, oh, you know what? At second thought, I think here maybe we can switch the sequence, or we can do something a little different. And then I
The
can run it
reason
again.
why I'm loath to do that is that we've done that before, and we had quite a reasonable thing, and then what came out was really inferior. So
Well, yeah, but here's something that's very interesting is when I look here, the ones you didn't like is you didn't like the podcast that came out of the six pager, right? You thought that you said I can barely recognize this. And what I'm seeing is that what we had done with all these different abbreviated presentations, if you would, when we give it up to a third party, and the AI is more or less a third party at that stage, and say, okay, give it back to us, explain back to us what you're getting out of our abbreviated presentations, we're not happy with it. But when we go back to Koister's book and say, do the same thing, because what you just saw right now is out of Koister's book. And so when we go back to Koister's book, your response is usually, yeah, that's pretty good. So I think here we have to be very cautious that sometimes we think, oh yeah, we're explaining things very well, but until we do the poll of the audiences, if you would, we don't know. Are they? You have to not do a poll. You almost have to quiz them.
I think that one major problem we're having is that we're going over and beginning and beginning and beginning. We've been at this for a very long
I
time
I
now.
don't think so, because I'm finding out myself going through this. In the process of going through this, in the process of going and having it go through the website page by page, I'm gaining a very different understanding of the Cloister plan, because fell into that category of looking at it. If you recall, I said, "Oh, wait a minute, we can do each of these pieces independently. We don't have to have them connected." Right? And I think here that I've had that reaction, and it's only recently. So I don't think we did. Even going back when I was creating the website, if you recall, I kept going back to you and saying, why? Where? We
Yeah.
got to do a better job on explaining the problems. We got to do, because I think what we do, in particular, you are so familiar with the plan and everything about it, that you make certain assumptions, maybe about, oh, that's common sense. Everybody knows
I'm
that.
not familiar with the plan. Koister gave me an outline which I put in the book I wrote,
Hmm.
and basically that's what I know about the plan. And of course, I was with him for about 20 years,
Hmm.
and we had a relationship in which he wanted certain things from me, my English, etc. And he had a Xeroxing machine which I needed, and so we stuck together for 20 years. He was a huge bore. He was a marvelous man,
Hmm.
but a huge bore. He couldn't talk about anything else but the plan.
Yeah.
S- Um,
See,
I'm
when
not
I
anything
did,
negative about him because he is absolutely a fantastic man, and I really loved him to bits
yeah.
as a human being, sort of someone to be with. It was a constant,
Mhm.
my God, goes over and over a different
Mhm.
aspect. So
I
that
I
part,
think with this
that's I
present
know the plan.
Yeah, I think with this presentation, though, if we were to go and ask people, okay, let's once we got the PowerPoint and everything, and we're able to maybe make it into a video type of thing, my goal would be to have something like about 15 minutes, something 12 to 20 minutes. That's sort of your TED Talk duration. That if we went back afterwards and said, okay, had you understood that before? I think we would find that the first almost everybody would say, "Oh no, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking about okay, we have poor people. Let's give them a way to
Well,
sell
I think you're quite right about that. And I think
it."
that's probably my fault, as Joan said, because I started taking the easy way out. I thought, let's get going and let's go into the finances and
Yeah,
everybody comes on board, which is quite true. They all came on board for the finances.
yeah, mhm.
It's sort of like a vort, it's like
Sure.
a vicious circle. I came out with the easy way because I just wanted to get going.
Mhm.
Now everybody just takes that as being the only way. So now what you're coming up with, and I'm learning a lot through you, is you're coming up and you're showing, all the different aspects of the plan. And I already knew we needed those others. I mean,
Mhm.
personal growth is of course my field. So you can imagine that, and I hate finances. That for me the plan had it was more interesting in a different way. Anyway, I don't want to go into myself, but the thing is that what our need, Bill, is to get going. When Amos said, in his it said, we're dealing with people starving to death, and
Yeah,
you
but
guys
in Rotary, in Rotary here,
so just that we could talk to what we're speaking about, not sort of examples, but just let's
yeah,
talk
yeah.
directly to the
But see what our studies concluded is the biggest fallacy that we've got is to allow ourselves to be driven by whether individuals survive or don't. In other words, helping the victims. In other words, leading with your heart is what's the catastrophe of the
right.
world.
All right, but I'm not interesting about survival. Physical survival for me is a secondary. You
Yeah.
know, the personal growth is the first.
But
But
when you're
I
talking about what Amos is
adore
talking,
you, and Joan is Joan.
yeah,
So, we have very different approaches. And the point is, we have three aspects of the plan. They need to come across somehow. And what this does is it shows how everything fits together.
that's
And
the
there,
thing. Getting commitment to the overall goal, then you can understand how the pieces are needed to get to that goal, right?
yes,
And that's what we've been missing. We've everybody I think understands very well the marketplace. They understand universal basic income. They even understand the decision making, even if they say, "Okay, not sure we can do that." But the I think what this does is says, look, if this is your goal, doing the marketplace alone isn't going to get us there.
it
Uh,
does a good job on that. So
yeah.
let's
So
start with that. I
okay,
think we
so
have a good starting point here. And I
yeah.
don't want to go back. I want to move to a next
So,
achievement
okay.
step.
So here's what I'm suggesting. Now, as I said, probably tomorrow I'm not going to be able to do anything because I'm going to be on the road for 11 plus hours. And but I should be able to this afternoon, be able to run this through, flesh it out. I'll send you the stages as I get them. So we get this fleshed out into basically a script for this part of the presentation. I think one of the things I want to do is I want to ask it to strengthen for the audience buy-in part, the audience confirmation of each step. Right now, it has that like one question, and I think we may want to have like two questions on each of those stages that we go through, just to make sure that we're all still together as we go from
But
one.
Bill, the point there is that it's sort of a rhetorical question because people aren't talking and we're not having the interaction. Our objective is a video. At least that's what I think our
Yeah, but
objective.
keep in mind, I told you the other day. Now, for example, on the podcast, you can actually have it in the podcast that you interact with the hosts of the podcast, and I would suspect that very shortly you could. for example, you know how in Zoom you can do a poll in the middle of the Zoom call.
Yeah.
And so that we can try to do some way to
Do you
get
find
the,
the polls useful? I've not found them at all useful. I found them sort of very superficial. They're not really getting us
well,
anywhere.
it depends
Not
on
getting us to
it
the same
depends on literally
stage.
what you ask. That I think is crucial. But here's the thing on polls, and you and I talked about this once in the past. There are polls where your goal is to find out what people are thinking, and there are polls where the questions are designed to get the people thinking. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
right. So when
that's
we
what your poll, that your survey did.
yeah, and so I'm thinking here we can even go here perhaps and create a survey where the introduction at the beginning of the survey is the presentation video of the automated PowerPoint presentation, for example. And we want to keep each one of those maybe down to even less than 10 minutes in that case. And we maybe have three levels of poll. One is getting agreement on the goals, and then getting agreement on the high level plan, and then getting agreement, for example, maybe on the pilot plan.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
I want to just stop here because we promised Joan that we would have a side event.
yeah, but yeah,
That would be something we can do for a side event. And we would have the survey, that would be the interactive part where everybody can participate, and then we have the next stage. That is something. But what we want right now is we want to have an introductory video which tells people so that they understand in steps what the thing's about, and it mustn't be too long.
yeah,
So
that's
that
what I'm saying. But I'm
feel
thinking,
what we need to achieve now, because we're working right now with Joan, who is eager to get going, and
yeah.
I'm eager to get going too. And we have a
But
peak.
Joan and I have talked on this, and she is 100% in agreement here that the biggest problem we've got is we do not have consensus on why we're doing anything. Uh,
Right, but again, we don't have to have three videos and
no, no,
surveys.
no, no. I'm just saying though, if you try, we call it function overloading. When you try to pack too many ideas in one pass, you usually fail because it's too much for the human brain
Quite
to
agree. I quite agree with that. But if we look at that at the way in which this was organized, it went over the same material again and again and again in four different stages, I think it was, and deepening the stage every time. And I think that that is something that certainly helps us to understand
right.
it.
But as you get to the end of this, though, the idea is to say, okay, now we have that the survey where we're saying, do you agree on each of the main points that were brought up? Maybe it's the same questions that are here. Those are the questions that are in the survey. And so we get people, they looked at something, and now we're causing them to think, do I agree with that? And to voice that, and it allows us to see if the majority agree. Because one of the things
And the survey would be actually not after each section, but after the whole thing.
after the whole thing, after the
Yeah.
whole thing,
So then, okay, so then the next step would be to, if possible, to get to the video right now as soon
yeah,
as we can,
yeah.
and have the survey
And again,
after.
that's got in it two steps. The first step is we have to flesh this out. Well, we have two ways we can go. Regardless of what we're going to do further, this now has to be fleshed out into basically your bullet points, if you would, of the presentation. What would be on a PowerPoint, for example. Then we can take that either before we automate the PowerPoint or after, either one we have to see, that we then take that and feed that into Notebook LM and have Notebook LM make a podcast from it. Um,
And the
realistic,
podcast would be sort of the man and woman talking.
right, exactly. And but the other alternative on that is that the for the PowerPoint, we would end up with two things. We would end up with a video, which is not two people speaking, it's a presenter. Well, we could try something. I've seen some people do it where using a product called 11 Labs, where we can take the PowerPoint and record a AI speaking the speaker's notes to each slide and turn that into a video. But what we can do is to liven it up, we can have like those two people speaking, but they would be speaking to what's showing up on the PowerPoint as the animated PowerPoint as the bullet points are being added. Maybe the one person is more or less reading the bullet point, and the other person is commenting, "Oh yeah, that's really important," or something like that, just to liven it up a little bit. Now,
Yeah.
those those types of things, well, I don't know because, as I said, I've seen videos on people doing it, but I haven't done it myself. Um, and I know they
To be
release.
the easy thing because what we're talking about now is that that would not be the final step. The final step that we want to get to as soon as possible would be the video. So the PowerPoint would be the interim
No,
step.
no, no, no.
And then,
Keep in mind that you're calling the podcast videos. They're not videos. They're podcasts. So there's a difference. If it's
that's
audio, it's
different.
podcast. So the video in a PowerPoint, that's the movie. That would be the an animated PowerPoint where you've got bullet points flying in from the side or up from the bottom, and there's music and there's people explaining things as this is happening. So you get the reinforcement of the visual and the audio. Okay, that is the PowerPoint. It's a basic PowerPoint, and then it's an animated PowerPoint that ends up being recorded. That when that's done, then you can feed that into Notebook LM as a basically as a YouTube video, and then those two people will speak about it. I think the one that's probably better and more effective, and we may even want to just stop with it, is the PowerPoint, the animated PowerPoint. Now the difference is, uh, I have to see to what degree, because I'm not the one that's going to write the scripts. I'm going to leave it up to AI to write the scripts. Then we can tweak them if need be, but I'm going to let it do the heavy lifting of the first pass or two. Uh, but
Yeah,
the
so
thing
the
that
first
makes,
step would be to get the basic PowerPoint, which is animated.
the
And
first thing, it doesn't come animated, it comes non-animated, but then you can turn around and say you want it animated. And now does it do it automatically? Or I don't know if you've made a PowerPoint with all the animations of the screen transformations and all
Bill, I
those.
am totally, totally the biggest simpleton that you can
Okay.
imagine.
I've done that. I've done that in the past when we didn't have these newer technologies. And you've got to go in there for each bullet that you want to slide in. You got to slide it in. You got to say, how many seconds do you want to delay between the first bullet and the second bullet? Because some are longer text than others. You need to give people time to read them. And then you've got the ones where you're transforming, where one screen fades into another screen. And the timing, you got to work out the timings and things like that.
But Bill, do you have to do that with AI or are they going to do
No,
it?
that's what I'm thinking. I'm based on what I've seen. Again, I've seen others talking about they have done it. They are able to just say to AI, turn this thing into a video. And AI literally went out there and it found little snippets of video from other movies, and it creates a whole animated movie of what it is you're trying to say.
Well, if we could do that based on on the text that we have, I think that would be
Oh, I don't
absolutely.
think it would do it based on the text we have. Has to be converted now. This one was more, what's your strategy of presentation, if you would. And now this has to be converted into the actual presentation messages for each part. Uh, and so there's no way around that. So, but that I'm going to have AI do that, but it probably is going to take a couple of passes because uh, because usually the first, well, even like what you saw here, that was about four passes. To
What does it past mean?
A pass means I just ask for redos. They do it. I say, well, yeah, but you
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were redos. Yeah.
so it redoes it, but you got to tell it what you want different in the redo. Otherwise, you're gonna. First of all, it never does it twice the same. Even if I don't give it any instructions, I just say redo. It'll understand that I'm saying, well, I'm not particularly happy with that, and it will try to redo it differently. And sometimes it redoes it differently in a better way, but sometimes it does it differently in a way that's worse than what the previous one was. And so you got to have a dialogue with it and to say what it is you're trying to accomplish. Why are you asking for a redo? But that's something that's just a matter of sitting down and going through it. And then you get something that looks fairly reasonable. And then I have to go over to a product called Copilot from Microsoft. And well, I have two choices. I can go to Claude or I can go to Microsoft Copilot. And okay, yeah, just and I've got to ask. I have to get them to put it into a presentation structure. So we've got a whole bunch of bullet points, but I have to say, look, I want you to convince. I want you to uh, um, um,
Well, anyway, so what you're saying is what we get from these points that we've looked at, which were excellent, and then from those points we'll go to a PowerPoint,
right.
and then from that,
And
right?
from the PowerPoint there, we can go over to get a podcast, the two speakers. Now, the thing that makes that always exciting is that, you know, we get blown away that we just gave it a PowerPoint and look at what it comes up with. It's like, wow, were they reading our mind or what?
They're
It's
very good.
but the thing about it is sometimes I've had to ask them for two, three redos.
Yeah,
And then sometimes I've had to say, where did you get that statement from? Because it does hallucinate sometimes and it makes stuff
yeah.
up. So I always have to come and say, no, don't do that, leave that out, and so forth. Anyway,
How would it be then if the next step would be that you make the PowerPoint? I'll be on call here, waiting for anything that you need from me.
yeah, it's going to take what time is it? Oh shoot, I got to get over to another meeting. But okay, so I get out of that. Let me see. Get out of that. And then I've got to meet Arena for lunch. So then I got to do something for the Italian Diplomatic Academy. So it's probably going to be about 9 o'clock your time by the time I get the first flesh out. It's not yet the PowerPoint. It's the fleshing out of this in preparation to hand that off to the tool that will try to create a Google Slides or a PowerPoint presentation out of it. And then that's a couple of times. So I imagine you're not going to see that until tomorrow morning your time.
Yeah,
Okay.
tomorrow morning I'm basically taken up, and I can probably, how long will it be? Um,
No, well, we said but I mean, you've got to read it. I'll keep you posted as I'm doing things. I might be able to go while I'm on this call. I might be able to go and just tell this thing to start and so it's running parallel to that. I can't promise anything, but I can give that a try.
yeah. Okay, how will you let me know? Because I will
WhatsApp, via the WhatsApp.
okay. Any way that you can ding or something that I hear it, because I'll be doing whatever I need to
I
do.
can I can try to send you a SMS message saying check your WhatsApp.
Yeah. How would I would hear that, would I?
That's up to you and your phone. If you've told your phone to alert you when you get incoming SMSs, and I can't tell you how to do that in an
Uh,
app. But you loaded ChatGPT, right?
I did, but and it looked absolutely phenomenal and very easy. But
Okay,
I didn't
so
get
so
it.
here's the thing. Just say, hey, I have an Apple, whatever your phone is, or I've got my Mac. Tell me, how do I do this on my Mac? Or how do I do this on that? It will give you step by step, and you can say, explain it to me like you'd explain it to an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
It'll do
Okay.
that.
I can do that online. That would be easier for me because I
Yeah, so
know.
just tell ChatGPT, tell me how I tell Arena this all the time. She's saying, well, how do I do this? I got this message here. How do I make sure that this message that's coming in from somebody on an email is from them and not some fraud attempt by somebody? And you can literally ask anything. You can ask it, how do I make Deutsche Brötchen in America? There's nothing you can't ask. Literally, I asked it here on how does the temperature affect the tire pressure readings that I want to, because I had
But
one
Bill,
time.
I didn't get any of that from what you sent. You sent me I think it was Chat DP. Is that's what you sent,
Oh, no,
right?
no, I sent you a link to mine. No, I'm saying go to your Play Store, go to the Play Store or the App Store and download ChatGPT. It's the one for Apple is supposed to be really, really good. So you're going to install an app on your phone, and then you can just talk to it.
Like you talk to do it, like you write to Google.
Yeah, it's similar, but it's literally, yeah. Hi, ChatGPT. I'm talking. Wait a minute. Hold on. It didn't. No, that's not the one I need.
What I go to the internet, I go to Chat GTP and say download.
No, you go to on your phone. You've got the App Store, right?
Yeah.
So you just go to the App Store and you search for ChatGPT.
I've tried to search for something, for instance, for Skype, and then I get 101 different
No,
things. And
that's Google. You don't go to Google if you're in
I go to the Apple store, and I
yeah.
say, I want Skype. And I got 101 different
Oh
things
no,
that
you have to look at the one that says it's from OpenAI. Hey, ChatGPT, I have a friend here that is trying to install ChatGPT on her Apple phone. How does she do that?
can't I do it on my computer, Bill?
To install ChatGPT on an iPhone, your friend can search for ChatGPT in the App Store and download the official app from OpenAI. Once downloaded, she can sign in or create an account. It's straightforward and similar to installing other apps. If she has any issues, I'm here to help.
Can you do that also on a Macintosh? Is it just as easy?
On a Mac, it's also straightforward. You can access ChatGPT directly through a web browser by visiting chat.openai.com. Alternatively, you might find third-party desktop apps that provide ChatGPT access, but using the browser is the easiest and most direct way. If your friend needs guidance, I'm here to assist.
Okay, thank you.
So I go to OpenAI and then download Chat.
You go to chat.openai.com through the browser on your Macintosh, and then you can sign in using your Google account. So where it says sign in, either you give it your email and you make a password for it, or the easier way is just to say sign me in via Google. But you said the last time that the Google kept asking for your password, right?
Went round and round and round.
Okay, so then just use your email and then you have to give it a password that you remember. And then each time it should remember you from time to time. I never have to sign in anymore. Once I sign in once on my computer, it just automatically knows who I am the next time and I don't have to sign in again.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying going to be able to manage any of this. It's just Bill.
Do,
It's
do it on your phone. It's so easy. You just go to your phone, go to the App Store, and search for ChatGPT in the App Store, but the one that says from OpenAI, or you can probably even put down in the search ChatGPT by OpenAI or from OpenAI.
okay.
And and then once you install that, again, you're going to have to, I would say here, if you've got a problem knowing your password, but you open Gmail, right? Do you use Gmail?
Yeah.
Well, if you're using Gmail, it's logging you in with your password. That is your Google password. You don't need another one. It's the same one you use for Gmail.
But I never sign into Gmail. I just go to Gmail and it automatically opens my
No,
Gmail.
because it's remembering who you are from before.
Yeah.
So
Bill,
because of that here, well, we'll try that on another call. I got to go to this other meeting, but
yeah.
we try it in another
I'm going
call
to let
here.
you go now and I'll check my WhatsApp. What are the good times to check?
I would say every 2 hours.
Okay. Good, I'll do that and I'll let you go so that you can do as much as possible. And I'll check back in 2 hours' time. So that would be at 5 p.m., at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
I'll check back at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. After that, it gets to be too late because Bill, I have big sleeping problems.
yeah.
So if I go on at night, I don't
No,
sleep.
I know. Arena's got the same problem. It's just
Oh,
that if she doesn't get to bed early enough here, she can't get to sleep.
yeah, yeah. So I'll check at 6 and 8 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Let me hop over to my other meeting then.
Yes, okay. So tomorrow morning I have a meeting. I have to be somewhere at 9:45. I could
Yeah.
check,
Tomorrow I'm probably going to be out of the loop all day if I'm
but then
driving.
if I haven't got the stuff, then I'll be able to sort of get it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you can still send me a message on WhatsApp because I can get WhatsApp everywhere I'm at. I may not be able to respond right away if I'm driving, but when we stop to get gas or to take a break, switch drivers or so, then I can check.
Okay, so we'll be in touch. And our next meeting will be when? And by then I hope we'll have sort of the next step taken, right? We will have what, the PowerPoint or
Yeah,
what?
yeah, we're probably going to be doing those via texting on WhatsApp because I'm thinking Monday, but Monday's I think that's Christmas Eve, right?
Oh, right. And that's your Christmas.
Well, half yes, because the German side, yes. The American side is on the 25th. The German side is on the 24th.
Yeah, so the 24th or 25th is out for sure.
Yeah. So at the latest, the 26th, but we can do that on WhatsApp. We can figure out when's that time.
Should we say 26 that we meet at 26 and we do the rest via WhatsApp?
Let's shoot for that.
All right, 26 at 3 p.m.
Yep.
again.
Yep. Oh, wait a minute. 26. Yeah, at 3 p.m. It's okay.
Okay, now we have a wonderful time. Lots of luck
Yes.
driving.
And
Don't get into an accident.
yeah, right. Right.
And
And if we don't talk beforehand, a Merry Christmas to you
you
and your
too,
husband.
Irene,
Yeah.
wish her the best. And yeah, lovely. Well,
Okay.
okay, 26th, I'll make that note then, 26 at 3 p.m.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I got to jump.
Okay. Bye. All the
Bye
best
now.
and thanks.
Yeah.